be in front of him in about 3 minutes. The train cut me off. I gotta go to secondary. Taking shots. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're gonna go over Grayman Urban Recce. So stay tuned, you piece of watch my stuff. Alright, so today we're gonna go in reverse order. Usually I spill everything out of the pack that I've already put together. Today, same thing. We're just gonna load out a $12 Walmart backpack. The coming election and the civil unrest that will soon play out, and just all the crazy stuff that's going down right now, I think the most applicable and the most practical application of the Urban Recce is kind of like what we experienced in COVID a little bit in some areas, to where it was not quite martial law, but there was just tons of lawlessness. It was like right there on that threshold, to where you know, nobody wanted to be the spark to light the fire of a revolution. That stuff right there, we're just tiptoeing on the edge of lawlessness, martial law, all that stuff. And so it's still perfectly legal to gather intelligence. These are some items that you might want to start stockpiling, putting together, or just the concept that you might want to start playing with. So the reason why I went with just a $12 backpack, this is what I keep my laptop in. This is pretty inconspicuous. This doesn't throw any flags. So, you know, if I was walking around in the city park with this, some people, it might start freaking out. You know how it is. Nobody pays attention to anything until the news tells them to, and then everybody wants to rat out everybody for anything that's slightly sus. This scenario that we're going to build is basically like martial law has not been executed or put into place yet. So starting off with this backpack, obviously you're going to want a good set of binos for you to be doing your creeping and stuff, whether it's from a vehicle or for if you're out on foot doing stuff, gathering intelligence. Binos is definitely the way to go for that. That being said, honestly, this day and age, using binos it's going to throw some flags, especially if you're in the middle of the city, unless you can convince people you're bird watching. It's going to look kind of sus, so this may or may not be applicable to you. It's been in multiple videos before. Depending on where you're at and where you need to get in and out of, folding bolt cutters, these are always one of my go-tos. There's not much this thing can't get past, and it folds up. Obviously, a light source. Got night vision. Definitely throw that in your bag just in case you're not able to move, or what you need to observe remains in place until nighttime, and you still need to get eyes on it. It's always good to have night vision if you've got some, or if you can afford it. Rangefinder. One thing I don't have up here is a notebook and something to write with. So if you're taking notes on ranges, on where a potential target or resources are from the lookout that you're observing from, rangefinder is definitely going to be helpful to get ranges. You can relay that back to your homies so that if anything pops off, they already know holds and what they need to do at that range. So if you need to use radios, you can always get these earpiece attachments. It's kind of like a poor man's PTT, but it's a little bit less sus out in the open as compared to the big PTTs wearing headset comms and all that stuff. You can slip this up underneath your shirt, and looks like you're either listening to the radio or music, whatever, what have you. That being said, as far as comms go, if infrastructure is still up and going, and you know, they're not waxing people tracking phones and stuff like that, phones are also a good way to gather intelligence, and it doesn't look quite as sus as binos or radios, anything like that. So not only can you zoom in and take pictures, you can record audio, but then as far as comms go, it doesn't get any less sus than making a phone call back to your homie. Hey, they're moving this way, they're moving that way, yada yada yada. So take everything with a grain of salt and whatever's most applicable to your situation. So we've got comms that you can rock, and then this right here is what I like to call a recce belt. So all it is one of those war belt sleeves that it's the molly. And so with this, the reason why I like it is because as I drop everything on the floor, standard belt, well, everything's mollied to it, and it folds up nice and convenient and goes inside your backpack. We've got all that kit that we just loaded into a $12 Walmart backpack. It's pretty inconspicuous, and it's really not that sus walking around with a backpack like this. Now, when we start throwing stuff like this in the mix, you got to change things up a little bit. But with this, obviously, you're going to want your concealed carry. So, not sure if you can see super well, but you know, I just look like a regular Joe Blow. And then I've got all this stuff in my backpack that I can be gathering intelligence with and sending back to the homies. Protection if I need it. Now, going back, but for whatever reason, I have to ditch the vehicle and then hike through the woods a couple of miles to get to the spot that I'm trying to do reconnaissance on. Well, that's where the little recce belt comes in handy. Like I said, it's just the cheap, generic, padded molly war belt, whatever you want to call it, and mollied onto it. I've got medical. Then I've got water source if I need that, fixed blade, and then over here I have my lifeline mags. So this is just a super cheap single double. So it's a single pouch, holds two 30-round mags, and then you can do cheap little clip-ons or whatever you want on the rest of this. I try and keep this semi-light, but then with it being an empty sheath, you can take any belt you want or the belt that you're wearing, stick it through the Recce belt, and then it hooks on over the outside. And so now you've got a makeshift war belt. You've got a little bit of a sustainment in resources as you move to your next objective, gathering intelligence and all that stuff that way. Just some ideas to think about. It folds up pretty nice. Now, as far as a rifle goes, if you're operating out of a vehicle, then obviously you can stow your rifle in the vehicle somewhere, out of sight, out of mind, until you need it. This is my 18-inch, so obviously size-wise it's a little overkill. But for anybody running, I would say shoot 16 inches or less, you could probably, I would say 13.7 and less you could fit in this by breaking it apart. Anything over, then you're going to need to obviously get a larger backpack, but you can find larger backpacks anywhere, online, retail stores, stuff like that. So find you a decent sized backpack that you can load this stuff into that's not super sus. And all you guys rocking pistols, AR pistols and whatnot, you can get it in here super easy. But even with an 18-inch, I've got a couple of other backpacks that I can stow this in and cover it completely. And so obviously it's way taller than this, but you get the picture. And so that's something that you can think about doing if you want to stow your rifle amongst all this other stuff that you've got. But proof of concept that we're talking about here, and that is urban reconnaissance before shit hits the fan, so to speak. So these are just some ideas, like I said. Do with it how you wish. Guys, appreciate you stopping by. As always, I love the feedback, swapping ideas and stuff like that. I mean, this video, that's how it was born, was bullshitting with y'all on a live stream and coming up with cool ideas. I love playing with different concepts and how they could better us and get us more prepared for, you know, anything sketchy coming down the pipe. As always, appreciate the support. Couldn't have done any of this without y'all guys. So have a good one. Be safe. Always push back. P.S. Be sure to turn on your notifications and all the buttons underneath the video that you're supposed to press and all that good stuff. We're going to be doing a 12 to 24 hour patrol setup next. So